Hello everyone, Star Ultros here, bringing you a new video on an FFBE new unit update. So this week we are getting a collab again. You know, usually the third week of the month is a collab. So now we're getting Xenogears this week, and it's yet again kind of the same thing we usually get when we get Xenogears. So we're getting two new units, some NVA Awakenings, and also some crowns. So let's jump right into it. So the first new unit is Power Beyond God Fae. So once more, Fae comes back to the fray. It's the second NV plus Fae that we have. So they don't really know what variety is. I've never played the Xenogears, so I don't have any attachment to the series. I am a little, I guess I'm not too enthused by the collabs because it's always limited units, and they often will bring a lot to the table, but since they're limited, if you don't have them, then you kind of miss out. And I know it's the entire shtick of a gacha game, but still I have a gripe with it. I'm not a fan. Anyway, let's get into his kit. So Fae is a light, fire, water, wind, earth, and dark unit. So that's 6 elements, just too short of being Lost Nation Rain. He's also another world, obviously. He is Xenogears, Gathering, Guardians, Saviors, and Transcendent. So very good coverage in terms of categories. Very versatile. We love to see it. His TMR is a materia with a 50% dragon and fairy killer and 70% attack. Pretty good. His STMR is an accessory, kind of akin to Lightning's STMR, so little dagger she had. So that's 113 attack, 30% attack and HP, and flat attack for him. The vision card is, a vision card. No one really cares, but it's slightly better than the usual because it's a collab card. I think that's kind of the, that's the run-of-the-mill collab card. His EX ability at EX3 is a 50% overkiller for fairies, which is a little bit more rare, so I guess that's nice. Now if we go look at the kit, he's got a boost skill and he's an overdrive unit, so no shift form to a big robot. He has an exclusive equipment, which we will be able to go and farm, well not farm, but clear quests to go and craft it. It's 153 attack, with also 30% attack, defense, and spirit on it, 50% double hand, and also some flat attack for him. So pretty good. You're always going to want this. He's not going to be competing with Rain's Clothes, as I said with other units last week. For his kit, at EX1, he is getting the 500% LB damage buff, and at EX2, he gets actually 2 different skills. So he gets the skill for Wind, Earth, and Light, amplified by 300%, and another one for Fire, Water, and Dark, 300% amplify for himself. So only for himself, but 2 different skills to cover all 6 of his elements, which is interesting if, say, you have a multi-element party and you can just, skip from one to the other, in order to have, 2 turns of big damage with the 300% amplify. For the rest of the kit, nothing too much to talk about for the first abilities. He does have a field for a 50% imperil for all 6 of his elements. So, 50 is a bit weak, but 6 elements is pretty nice. So, could be more versatile, I guess. But that this is not going to be your dark vision coverage. This is going to be more like a longer fight coverage, because he's going to be very versatile in terms of elements. He's got the 600% stat buff for himself and a friend, 60% fist imperil because he is using fists. He can also recover some MP with that. Cooldown available in turn 3, which is also what unlocks his big chaining abilities, which we will look at a little later. He also has a available in turn 3 only as well, a 200% Omni Killer for himself only. He has a on-demand Perfect Dispel for the enemies, and it's AoE, so it's really great, and it's on demand, so we love to see it. He has a cooldown here to unlock some modifier buffs for his chaining abilities and other stuff. We can look at, no, I don't even think that's modifier buffs. We're gonna look at them a little later. The usual imbues for all his elements. In terms of passives, he gets an extra 400 times to his chaining abilities. Other than that, his boost skill is to fill his LB gauge to max for the first 3 turns of the fight. So even if he's EX 0, he's going to get his LB maxed for the first 3 turns anyway. One thing interesting to note is he gets the full chain cap because he's got one here. And he's got another one here. So you don't even need to give him any gear for that. He gets it innately, which is great. Other than that, what else? 1 stack of guts, which is, pretty nice. Now the full modifier, so his chaining abilities, the way you need to use them is a little bit like Tifa. So you use one and then the other and then the last, bringing it all together, like with all the modifiers to I think a maximum of like 11,700 or something like that, or 11,200. So kind of on par with the big chaining abilities. With his other cooldown that unlocked 4 other abilities, he's unlocking these. So he has a 89% defense and spirit break and 87% attack and magic break. And it's AoE, so that's very, very good. Just too bad he needs, like 2 turns to be able to cast it. But it's very good, although it's only for 3 turns and it's on a 5-turn cooldown. And you need 2 turns to cast it, so you know the drill. You're going to need somebody else to help with that, but that's good that he has like access to both of these things as a secondary breaker, I would say. Also imperil all his elements by 160, and fist imperil also by 40% on this. So when you've already used the Magnus ability for the 60%, you can use this for the 40. He also has another ability that is 400% attack buff for him, 300% ALB damage buff for him, also 150 amplify to both his elements, and it's for 3 turns, so not only for like 1 burst, you can use it twice, and then go back to it later. This is something you can unlock like as many times as you want during the fight, so long as the cooldown is passed, so that's pretty good for sustained damage. Also, another ability he gets is a 3-stack Mirage for the entire team, and also increasing the LB gauge by 30 to everyone. These abilities are kind of expensive in terms of mana, so you might want to give him maybe a 3 stars accessory, so the mana cost is going to be reduced. But otherwise, it's something that basically fills the LB gauge for everyone into cast, and it's single cast. I'm doing air quotes here. So it's single cast. Basically, you can only cast it during 1 turn, but as many times as you want. So he could cast this twice to fill the LBH for everyone, and then this for the amplify for himself, for example. And the last skill he also gets is an AoE 400% defense and spirit buff. Also AoE 75% general mitigation for the team, and resistance to sleep, confuse, and disease for 3 turns to the entire team. So this is, the component that's been missing to all those Celeste-like mitigators that we've seen in the past, like Aerith. There was somebody else last week as well, I don't remember who. So after Lunafreya and Celeste, they kind of figured out this was way too strong, so they've cut it down. So they were like, the newer units only had 75 physical and magic mitigation, but 50 general. Now he has the 75 general that you could bring for a team with one of those units, for example, because he has basically all elements in the game, so he's gonna fit with them at some point. I think the elements he doesn't have is lightning. Yeah, he doesn't have lightning and fire. No, he has fire. Ice, lightning and ice. So sadly, lightning is kind of one of those elements you want with these latest units, but he's gonna find a way to fit in. Fire is definitely very versatile and very popular right now anyway. So you got this. His leader skill is, with the new trend, 1700% attack and magic buff to guardians and light allies. So this is and, not or. Remember, the wiki doesn't have that fixed with the parser, so it's always and here for the condition. So guardians and light. If they're only guardians, it's 1500 for attack and magic for guardians only. His his overdrive skill is 500% stat buff for Guardians once again, and also 200% LB damage buff for those. His limit burst is a multi-element. You can choose whatever element you want from all 6 of his elements. And altogether it is a 1725 times modifier. There's nothing else really worth mentioning on the LB except maybe it's the 75% mitigation for himself. In case you haven't used the skill that he unlocked earlier. So at least he can do that for himself. 1725 is on par with the meta. That's what Cecil and I think Kane had as well. So pretty good. All in all, a solid unit, but he's not pushing anything that far in terms of damage. He's good, don't get me wrong. He's got some utility, he's a good unit. But unless you like Xenogears, sorry, I'll work on that pronunciation during the video. So unless you really like Xenogears, maybe keep your Lapis is what I would say. Collab, usually the pockets stay closed for me. I always say that and I always pull and get disappointed. So this time I will be disciplined and I'm not gonna pull. Now on to the second unit being Elite Swordsman Citan. Or Citan, I don't know. I'm gonna follow the Japanese pronunciation of Citan. So once more, and I haven't talked about it, but if you go look at the sprites for Faye and Citan, they're basically the same as the other sprites we've had before for those units. So get ready to be confused when you look at them. At the unit lists, you're not going to know if you're taking the old unit or the new unit, just like a bunch of other units before have done to us, unfortunately. Now, let's jump right into his kit. So he has light, fire, water, wind, and earth. So he is short of dark to be the very same elements as Faye. So he only has 5. He is also another world, Xenogears, Rebellion, Gathering, Guardians, Swordmasters, and Transcendent. So once again, a very good coverage in terms of categories. His TMR is an accessory with a 79 attack, 50% Dragon Killer, and the flat stats for him. So nothing that great, but with the flat attack, he always wants it. His STMR is a materia with 70% attack and also fire, water, wind, and earth resist, 60%. A little bit reminiscent of, I guess, Ellie's STMR, like a 7-star Ellie, was it? Or, I think it was 7-star, yeah. With the elemental resistance here. The vision card is the same. His EX ability at EX3 is a 50% overkiller for machines. Which is very popular. No one likes machines, it seems, but I mean, it's kind of on brand for Xenogears, I guess. So for his kit, at EX1, he's going to unlock 2 abilities. He's going to get the 500% LB damage buff. He's also going to get the 200% wind and light amplify for himself and a friend. So it's wind and light. Screw the other elements, I guess. For his EX2 abilities, he's going to unlock the 250% Imperil for light and wind. So once again, screw the other elements. They're just there to be pretty. And same, he's also going to get the same elements for the 300% Amplify only for himself. So you can do 2 bursts or only one where he's going to amplify someone and himself after for more. That's kind of a waste in my opinion, but I mean, for Dark Visions, that might be the play. Depending on how action intensive your setup has to be. One thing that's very nice with him is he does have a quad cast, a little bit like Cecil 2 weeks ago anyway. So a DPS unit with a quad cast, very good for setups, very good for removing Mirage off of Siren, I guess, in the Grace of Water trial. But yeah, it's rare, but we like to see it. So for the rest, he does have a 90% break because his name is not Sephiroth, so he's not allowed to get 91%. He has a 60% Katana Imperil with a Magnus. A little bit akin to Faye earlier, he can recover 800 MP with his cooldown ability available on turn 3. which will also unlock his big chaining abilities. Similar to his previous version, I think that was the NV version of Citan, where you could cast an ability and then it would change his resistance abilities. So for light, fire, water, wind, and earth, he can cast 100% AoE resist for these elements if you cast this little ability here, so the ability for 300% attack buff to himself. So as long as you cast this, the other are going to be AoE. This also extends to his ailment cure, his Charm and Confuse cure as well, if ever that's relevant, the LB fill, and the flat 2000 HP recover, which is definitely not great because we have a lot more HP than that. Then for the rest of his kit, he has a field, a very good field, I would say, in terms of versatility. Maybe not the greatest for dark vision, so you'll have to think about the turn order when you're sending him for the fields, because he has a field for wind and light imperil, but also wind and light amplify. So if you want to imperil wind and light by 75%, send him first and then have somebody else apply the 100% amplify field for whichever element you're using out of those two, or if it's both or whatever. I don't think we have 100% dual elements field yet. And certainly not for wind and light, but like if it happens down the line. So it's very good in terms of what it does, for like unit crunching, if you want to bring like more intensive DPS. But if you have someone with a 100% amplify field, make sure to replace that so you can make use of an extra 30%. He also has a 180 imperil to all his elements, and an AoE machine and Reaper Killer for 160% because it's AoE, of course. In terms of the rest of his kit, he's getting a mod buff to his chaining abilities at EX1. That was the same for Faye, by the way. It was also EX1. Otherwise, same as Faye, he also gets the chain cap. He hits it on his own, so you don't need to give him any accessories or anything for that. He's got a little bit of evade, which is cute, but that's about it. Nothing much to write home about. And in his unlocked abilities, the way he works is a self-capping chain. So what you're going to want to do, similar to Faye earlier, so you cast the first one, the second one, the third one, and then you cast the fourth one, whose modifier will have been increased by all these abilities along the way. And he's going to kind of like self-cap the chain. I don't know exactly if it's going to break in terms of order, how you send it. I think you probably need to hit him first for it not to break the chain. I don't know. Maybe you need to have absolutely two of him for it to work. But once again, this is going to cost 800 MP, which is exactly what his cooldown ability recovers. So you can use that after, I guess. And I think the modifier for it was, that's 10,200, something like that. Yeah. So lower than Faye, and always lower than the LB anyway. His leader skill is 1700% attack and magic buff to Xenogears unit, and also if they're not Xenogears and they're just light, they're gonna get 1500% attack and magic. For his overdrive, he is like Golbez. He has two different overdrives. So for light units, he is going to provide a 200% stat buff, a 20% damage amplify, 150% LB damage buff, and also a overdrive field for 40% amplify as well for light units, I repeat. And his second overdrive is simply a 600% LB damage buff to all Xenogear allies. They can, if it's anything like Golbez, they can be used separately. He can use one and then the other, and they will stack if someone is both Xenogear and light. So that can be extremely strong with that 600% LB damage buff. But it's kind of more limited, obviously. So that's why it's probably much stronger. But there you have it. Very good in terms of overdrive. His LB, very simple. It's non-elemental, and it's same as Faye, so it's an AMOE chain, and it is 1725 times modifier. So up with the meta, and especially as a breaker, pretty good. Once again, I'm not going to break the bank for him, but if I get him on a free pull, I'll be very happy. If you guys want to chase for one of those, I would suggest him first. I think he is a better option in terms of what he can do, especially for those overdrives. Now, next thing we have to look at is an older unit. So remember, this unit, maybe if you've played Global before, she was she was among the last units we've got. Steel Wings of Bonds, Maria. So Maria here, she is a shift unit. Now today she is getting crowns. So if we look at her kit, the crowns, during the crown battle, you're going to unlock a 200% amplify for herself and a friend. So crowns, and she's not selfish. Very nice. Otherwise, she is also going to get a flat 1000 magic from clearing the fight. And she is going to get an awakening here for this ability, which is going to get her an upgraded LB. So this is the base form, by the way, we're looking at. So her upgraded LB brings it to a modifier of 1350 plus. So this is 1470, which is not bad for a mage, and that's a bolting strike chain. But usually where it's at for her was the shift form. So the shift form, she gets the same ability she did get in the base form, and she also gets the awakening here for her LB with this ability. The rest is all the same, but she does get the a different LB there. So her LB in the shift form is 1570 times modifier, also bolting strike. So kind of good actually for crowns. It's pretty satisfying. Now looking at another crowned unit, but also getting an NV plus awakening, is Dunefaring King Bart. Once again, that was a unit I think we got on Global not too long before the servers shut. So he is also a Brave Shift unit. In the base form, he also gets the same thing as she does. So the 200% amplify for light for both himself and a friend. Then again, for his passive, he gets 1000 attack. And otherwise, there's some more flat here, I think. Yeah, for some more flat stats he's getting here. Because they didn't bother to upgrade the LB here, because getting the NV plus awakening is what is actually upgrading his LB. So he's going to a 1500 times modifier for his LB, plus the usual physical modifier if you give him the Last Will's armor, or what was it, Titus' STMR, because I think he needs it. Yes, sadly he needs it. He doesn't have it innately. He's an older unit, so that would be 1720 in the base form, using the Titus' STMR and also his modifier from the cooldown. Oh wait, what? No, yeah, he gets it here. He gets it here. And then his shift form is once again kind of the same in terms of the abilities. Yeah, same here. But for his LB, the LB here is at a base of 1580 plus 220, that is 1800 times. So kind of similar, I would say, to Clive when he got his crowns not too long ago. So, like a big LB modifier, but kind of an older unit. So it kind of offsets with the lower stats and utility that they might bring to a fight. So overall, though, pretty strong. If you have the unit, go and get these things. It's going to be pretty good for him. Next, last but not least, Holy Mother Reborn Ellie is also getting an NV plus awakening. So if you remember her, she was I I don't know. I wasn't a fan of her because she was a bit clunky to use. You know, if you wanted to use her for damage, because you needed to LB in the base form to get a modifier buff, and then you could shift her to use the shifted LB for more damage, but also applying fields, imperil fields. So like she was a nice unit, but you know, not as easy to use as you would like. So if we look, her she's getting NV plus awakening, but she's not getting any crowns though. I think no, she is getting crowns too. Never mind me. She's getting crowns. Sorry about that. It's just that the crown battle won't give her any abilities though. So her crowns will give her a flat 4,000 magic and upgrade her LB. Her LB in the base form goes to well, that's an 800 times, but it also goes stronger when you cast it, so 1,100 times plus this after you cast it once is for the entire fight, so that would be 1,220 for the base LB, but that's not where the real damage is at. So let's remember that 120 modifier here. Did she have any more than that actually? Nope, she did not. Okay, and in the shift form, oh yeah, and oh she does. Oh, so that's actually well, you don't want to shift her just to use that, do you? Anyway, so technically, I guess the maximum modifier for the base form would be 300. Would be 1,520, and then the shift form. So we have to keep that 420 we're adding. She also gets a flat 6,000 magic here in the shift form of the crowns. And does she get the full chain cap? She sure does. She gets the full chain cap, so you don't need to give her any accessory or materia for that. She gets it on her own with the crowns. And then her LB is 1,570 times modifier. And the fields are now, are they the same? Oh, actually, she's getting more fields. So she's getting an imperil for fire, wind, earth, light, and dark instead of just being wind. So she is covering all of, well, almost all of Faye's and Citan's elements. I think she's only leaving water in the dirt here. But pretty good, I guess, as a budget option if you got her and if you don't want to pull for the rest of the banner. So that's it for the crowns and for the units. Now let's go look at the events that will be coming up. So first we have, well, that's the weapon quest for the armor for Faye. So it's probably going to be using Xenogear units. Good luck with that. If you have any, that should be easy if you pull for the new units. And if you don't, like me, then good luck trying to go and get the last level, because they've been particularly harsh with those. Well, I guess it's hit or miss. I can't base everything off the 4 fiends because that was for an overkiller materia. But for example, like the flans, the flans were pretty easy. In my opinion, anyway. You just need to bring, a Hyo, and that would take care of it. So we'll see, I guess. Or you're already seeing as you're watching this video, because I'm a little late, but not as late as last week. Now, the second thing we're getting is the crowns for, well, this only, is there another one? Nope. Well, the crowns for Maria and Bart. I don't know about Ellie. Why is she not there? It's saying to bring Guardians and Xenogear units, so probably that the mission for the Lapis in there is going to be for one of these, or maybe Light as well, because Light is pretty much their elements. Now the event we're getting is a raid, not a raid, just a Mog King event. So go and farm that box, use all your stamina potions, and empty it. It might be a little longer because when it's a collab, not everyone pulls as much as, say, an FF series. So you're gonna have a little bit less bonus units and less 80% bonus units as well. And last but not least, we're also getting a rerun of the previous Xenogears event. I think this one's a little old, so I think it is going to stop at 100,000 event points for all the rewards. Or the box is not going to be as predatory and intensive as the as the newer ones. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your pulls if you decide to pull. And good luck staying strong and not pulling if you're like me. See you next week. Bye.